Good evening and welcome to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. It is September 5th, 2023, and it is 7 p.m. Call this meeting to order. We do have a quorum. The prayer tonight will be with Alderwoman Hobbs, and I will have the Pledge of Allegiance. If everyone would please rise for the prayer and the pledge.
Dear Heavenly Father, I pray for our leadership. May we all serve with our hearts towards you. I pray for protection over our city and care for our first responders. Please bring peace and unity to our community and bring your blessing and favor to all of us. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Moving on to our order of business. First is to approve the minutes from the August 1st, 2023 regular meeting and August 22nd, 2023 special meeting. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor No. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Alderman Waldron?
No.
Alderwoman Hobbs?
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas?
Aye.
Vice Mayor No?
Aye.
Motion passes. Moving on to the public comment period. And we've got several people signed up today. So each person will have 3 minutes at the podium. We do ask that you state your name and address for the record. First we have Deborah Roan.
Good evening, Mayor Cole and members of the board. My name is Deborah Roan, and I am a member of the Vergne Senior Center, and there's quite a few representations here tonight. We wanted to present the board and the city with a document, and the document is as follows. It says, it's to Bruce Richardson, City Administrator, and Mayor Jason Cole. Dear Mayor Cole and other persons of interest, we do not ask why the resignation of Melissa Cooper and Linda Tomlin. We ask for the expeditious reinstatement of Melissa Cooper and Linda Tomlin to their positions at the Vergne Senior Center. And this document, we have multiple signatures from the members. And I wanted to just speak from my heart to let you guys know how important the Senior Center is to all of our members. Also, since I have been there, I know how caring Melissa and Linda have been to all of us. They have embraced us as family members. A lot of us would not even have a place to come to if it were not for them. So we wanted to just let you all know how much we love and appreciate. We don't know all the ins and outs or anything that's going on. We're just saying that we definitely support them because they have supported us and have been nothing but good to each and every one of us.
Well, I am Juanita Leonard, and I have been a member for the senior citizens there for 22 or going on 25 years. And I have never had, I have been through 4 different people that have run it. Nobody has run it like Linda and Melissa have. They are in every way, food, fashion, friends, bowed up to help people. And as far as that matter, where are we going to go if the senior citizens is closed? Where are the seniors going? Where is our building going? What are we going to do? Because if it hadn't been for the senior citizen, I wouldn't be here today. I'm 90 years old. And I don't think I would be here because, I mean, it's just changed my life always completely. So therefore, I just say that we need our building and we need our people.
Thank you, ladies.
All right, thank you.
Next I have, oh, thank you. I have Leah Kissendanner. Miss Leah? I didn't know her last name. Miss Leah.
Jackson down.
Gasson.
She must have snuck in. I didn't see her.
Yeah, or something.
And you can talk. My name, hello everybody. My name is Leah Gissendanner. I live at 253 Bill Stewart Boulevard in Laverne here. And when I heard what was going on, I had to come, I had to speak up for Miss Melissa and Miss Linda both. They've been like my parents. They took care of me, and they take care of each one of us down at the center as if we are their own. And I had to come and speak up because I've been there down at the center almost 12 years. And where else would I go? I would stay home, stay by myself. No, this way I could talk to my mom and my sisters and brothers, and I am happy because I have a family, an extended family, a family I would not have if I didn't belong to the senior center. And I just thank God for my family. I thank God for Miss Melissa and Miss Linda, for they're just like my family. They take care of me, and I appreciate it. And we can't go without, we need them. So please, think about it first, what you're doing before you do it.
Thank you, ma'am.
My name is Jenny Terrell, and I live at 506 Rutherford Point Circle. I'm on the back sheet, but I want to say I have come from Memphis, Tennessee to live here, and I came in 2011, and I love the senior center. My doctor said I need to find a place that would give me peace and help me over my stroke. I have been striving with that center, and because of Linda and Miss Melissa, we have fun, and they make sure that we are taken care of. If somebody is sick, they're gonna find out what's going on, why, and if we need help, they're there for us. I don't know what happened, but I don't care. We need Miss Melissa and Linda back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. Next, we have Jean Harris.
My name is Jean Harris. I'm from the Laverne Senior Citizen. I've been going down there for approximately 10 years now. I've been through 2 different people that ran the center, and I can unequivocally say that Melissa and Linda have ran it a whole lot better than what we've had before. They're more professional. They care. They take good care of us. There's love and friendship down there. And why they have been almost forced to sign their resignation and taking their vacation away from them, that was a real slick move, you know, where they couldn't take their vacation together. that was slick, because that forced them into giving their resignation, and that wasn't right. They were hired in, that was an understanding, that they took their vacation together. And we love Melissa and Linda, and we want this fixed. I don't know what the purpose is. Don't care. This is not right. This was a bulldog move. I don't know what else you'd call it or something. It just wasn't right. And I understand Mr. Richardson is the one that's in charge of the hiring and firing. So I don't know if this was his decision or not, but you've made a mistake. This was totally unnecessary. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Elaine Fry. Fry?
Mayor Cole, could we have them state their address as well?
Please. If you would please state your name and address.
Yes, my name is Elaine Fry. I'm from the Laverne Senior Center. And this is just a little poem I wrote and stuff, and I just want to thank the board for having me here.
Would you state your address as well, please?
The Laverne Senior Center, I'm a member of the Laverne Senior Center. I live here in Laverne at 121 Mason Circle.
Thank you.
Thank you. Laverne Senior Center. I used to sit at home with nothing to do. Now I'm at Laverne Senior Center with you. Day in and day out, it all amount. When it comes to Laverne Senior Center, you keep coming out. If you have something you want to do, come to Laverne Senior Center. The step will make your family too. We all play games and eat a lot. Come join us in our favorite spot. Laverne Senior Center has a blessing in our life. We all come daily and never think twice. The more we come, the more we have fun. This is part of our life. Laverne Senior Center is the place to come. The staff here will let you have fun. They play by the rules. You can't make them a fool, so that's why they keep everyone cool. There is nothing else I need to say, but thank you, Laverne Senior Centers, that made our day. This was wrote by me, and this is how I feel about the Laverne Senior Center.
Thank you. We can calm down. Thank you. Next, we have Sally Parker.
Hi, my name is Sally Parker. I live at 117 Stone Ridge Parkway here in Laverne, Tennessee. And I am very new to the center, but I worked in the medical field, and I have experience in 3 different states with senior centers and senior day care centers. I had my mom for the last 20 years of her life, and 2 of those states, she went to the senior centers. I'm now very new, like I said, to this one. She's no longer with us. But I have to say that I cannot state unequivocally that it extended her life. I can't say that. But I have to tell you that her quality of life was absolutely improved immeasurably by being able to go to those daycare and senior centers, to be able to have interaction with people her own age, the same situations, the same problems, and just everyone needs to be able to express themselves where somebody knows what you're talking about. And she found that at every one of those. And I have to say, you find out really quickly, because I do have experience in the medical field, the people that care and the people really who could give a rip about what is going on or what you think or what you care about. And those 2 ladies, Melissa and Linda, absolutely are in the category of caring beyond anything that was required of them. So my thought is, even with my limited experience here, that this place needs to continue, and those 2 ladies, I say, are irreplaceable. I know you're not supposed to say that, everybody is, but I think they're irreplaceable. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Miss Catherine Green.
Good evening, Mayor Cole, Alderman. Friday, I came home from a,
Ms. Green, will you state your name and your address for us, please?
okay, Catherine Green, Kathy. My address is Smyrna, but I am a member of the Laverne Senior Center and have been for 15 years. I came home from the hospital Friday and found out through a resignation letter that they were leaving. I lost it until I got to see them today. And what is going on is ridiculous. Somebody comes in and causes trouble. Do you believe the people that have been working for you and showing good faith, or someone off the street, basically less than 9 months? Also, we are with GNRC #1 in the state of Tennessee for all senior centers. And you're going to take that away from us? That is due to the hard work and loyalty of Melissa and Linda. We need to keep them with us. If you want to change things around, fine. If you don't want us part of the city, fine. But let us do our thing and let us have our people that take good care of us and love us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we have Terry Waldron.
Thank you, Alderman Mayor Coe. I'm here to discuss a matter about codes.
Name and address, please.
117 Center Street. Codes has been called on this house, I heard daily, I think by a member of the board. And I want to know if Laverne on a good old boy system, how come, may I approach?
Officer Joyner?
Will you
You
hand that to the mayor? I want to know how come the taxpayer citizens of Laverne have to abide by codes, and one of your members up here can live in a house like that. Grass above the fence, boxes, that's a hazard. And I want to know what type of good old boy system y'all are running. Taxpayer citizens have to abide by codes, but one of y'all get away with that. Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you. Now moving on to departmental reports. Police Department, Interim Chief Hatcher.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman. Hopefully you had a chance to read the report. The only thing of major concern for me is the 100% increase on our motor vehicle thefts from 5 last year at this time to 10 this year. We have projects in place, and we've done several different public service announcements and things, and also working with Metro Nashville because of the motor vehicle theft ring that they have going on with the Challengers and the Chargers to try and curb some of this. The ALPRs are picking up continually vehicles coming in from Metro Nashville that are stolen. So we're trying to do what we can. Outside of that, everything is pretty much almost even. A few things are down, traffic stops and citations, and we've only recovered 4 stolen vehicles versus 12 this time last year. But we are doing what we can with the resources that are available.
Chief, are y'all noticing any specific pattern, whether it's location or type of car that's being stolen? I know in Illinois they were talking about Kias were pretty susceptible.
It's mostly been Challengers and Chargers.
Okay.
Not so much with the Kias. I know that there is the trend because of the 2021s, the Hyundais and the Kias. We've not had a tremendous amount of reports of any of those vehicles being stolen from us.
Okay. And what can people do to if they're watching this with their vehicles, if they're parked outside?
Well, everything is always about trying to make sure that you either have another vehicle to secure it in front of it so that it can't be pulled out, things of that nature, or park them in the garage if you have space for those, or look for secondary anti-theft if you have one of those Kias or Hyundais that is still under
Is these
litigation right now.
vehicles, the keys been left in them, or?
Some, but with the Chargers and the Challengers, they have the security boxes that have the electronic codes for them, and they're able to do push start that way.
I had a friend that had one of those new Jeeps, and he was parked at UPS. Apparently, somebody pulled up next to him with a laptop.
Same thing, because it's computerized.
It's
And
crazy.
the push starts, yeah. Yeah.
But
It's just,
ultimately-
it's technology, and, you know, the bad guys know it just as well as anybody else.
But ultimately, lock your car, take your valuables
All
in
your
the
valuables,
house.
all your weapons,
No guns.
please. Yeah. Same service announcements that we tried to make in the residentials as far as the big signs, you know, secure and lock your vehicles.
Any other questions? Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Fire Department. Chief Beasley.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Alderman, I trust that y'all have had an opportunity to review our report for the month. Interestingly enough, I'm not sure why, but we've been downtrending on responses over the last 3 months. That's always a good thing. Less responses is better citizen protection, and frankly, I have no justification why, other than great work by our people.
Wonderful.
Do y'all have any questions?
Thank you, sir.
How's 283 coming along?
We are on schedule. If you came by there today, you would have noticed a pretty significant crane in the air, and they're putting on the second floor flooring members. So we are progressing to the second floor. So that's good news.
What about one day and you had a trailer that said Dennis's Concrete? It's not made.
Outstanding.
Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Parks and Recreation, Mr. David McGowan.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board, thank you. You guys have the parks numbers for the month. Upcoming events, kickoff concert for our Fall Festival will be Friday, the September 15th, Prince Experience featuring Gabriel Sanchez. September 16th is kickoff of the Fall Festival. That morning, 10 o'clock, the parade. September 29th is going to be a family movie night. That's going to be held at Waldron School. Clifford the Big Red Dog. Baseball and Softball League will provide concessions there. You see some of our past events. August the 11th was Howl at the Moon 5K. 144 runners showed up. August 24th through the 26th was a carnival. I think some of those hours were shortened due to the intense heat. Past senior event, August 16th, they went to Monell's. You can see our upcoming meetings. Senior Center Advisory Committee, 4:30 tentatively. September 18th, 6 p.m. Park and Rec. And then at 7 o'clock, Historical Preservation. As of right now, we have 100 plus vendors and food and craft vendors for the Fall Festival. I think 40 plus participants in the parade so far. We will have 2 live acts that day on the main stage at the football field. We will have a kids zone, petting zoo, pony rides, inflatables. Fire department's going to have a whole field of activities. Life Flight will land at 12:15. We will have axe throwing. Jack FM will be on site with giveaways, trackless train, laser tag, face painting, and a cornhole tournament. Anything I left out? You guys got any questions?
Well, one of the seniors got up and talked about Bruce having the hiring and firing. That's wrong. The hiring and firing is done by Jason Cole, and for almost over 3 years, I have put on the agenda about moving the hiring and firing from Jason to Bruce, and Jason has time and time has removed it from the agenda. And I think another council member has done the same thing, so.
Alderman Waldron, what does this have to do with Parks and Rec report?
At the,
Alderman Waldron.
at the thing is not.
Alderman Waldron, you're out of order, sir.
Fine.
I can't really speak to that, but I will kind of address the elephant in the room. I wish some of our seniors had not left. I'm afraid there's probably some, I don't want to say bad information, but there's some conflicting information. There was no terminations. These were resignations that were willfully handed over that were accepted. As far as closing the doors on the senior center, I can speak for myself and my department and pretty much city administration. That is not our goal. Our goal is to keep those doors open at all costs. What that looks like now, I can't tell you. Their last day is next Friday, the 15th. I can tell you that there will probably be some operational changes. It was open for 5 days. That just recently changed. In the past, it's been open 4 days. There's a very good possibility that we may revisit that. During this interim time, until we get a new staff in place, we may have to shorten hours from 9 to 3 is what the doors are physically open, to 9 to 2. About 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the place is a ghost town. We are probably going to suspend the bus service. We are not really equipped to provide a bus service to our members. That bus is not ADA compliant. I have reached out to 5 other senior centers in this area that fall under the GNRC guidelines. They do not provide a bus service. With that being said, you guys put me in a place to do a job, and I'm trying to do it to the best of my ability. I cannot make concessions willfully for one that I am not willing to do across the board for everybody. If that puts me in a bad light and that makes me the bad person, so be it. I heard the city administrator's name thrown out tonight. I can assure you he had nothing to do with this. This was a decision I made that I took to him. And if I had to make the same decision again tomorrow, I would make that exact same decision. It's unfortunate that it's come down like this. We have suffered through personnel changes before at the center, and we're going to do it again. GNRC has been notified. They are aware that the job posting is out there. They're going to try to push that out. Murfreesboro, St. Clair has been notified. Mount Juliet has been notified. So we are trying to get capable and qualified people in place. I understand the history there. I understand what those 2 ladies bring to the table, and I'm not discounting anything that they have put forth the past 4 or 5 years. It's unfortunate. Things evolve, and this is just where it's at. Like I said, their resignation was not requested, and they were by no means terminated. With that being said, I don't know how much liberty I have to discuss that personnel, but unfortunately, that's where we're at right now. Our plan is to keep the doors open, and we're going to move forward, whatever shape, form, and fashion that takes.
Keeping with the actual topic, which is the Parks and Recreation Departmental Report, that's where we need to stay. There is an ordinance, sir, I'm speaking.
I think the issue
So,
was.
Alderman Waldron, we have an ordinance that we do not speak about hiring and disciplinary issues or personnel issues. So, please make sure to follow that.
David, can you elaborate just a little bit on anything that we know? And I don't want to throw you under the bus. I'm just curious about soccer.
We are prepared for that to go out for an RFP. That is still in the works. That has not hit yet. I think there's a bunch of moving parts to that. I think it's kind of fallen at a busy time for the city with them going on a retreat for the next week, and then, it fell right behind meetings. So the meeting minutes were getting prepared, so I think that is still in the works.
I meant to call you about it, and I've been a little bit out of sorts, so.
Right.
All right.
Any other questions?
Well,
Yes.
Mayor Cole says I'm talking out of turn, but the door's been open. This is,
Alderman Waldron, it has not been open, so,
I can't get
sir,
up and say what I want to say.
sir, you are out of order.
People.
Alderwoman Haas.
David, can you elaborate anything on the USL fall ball clinics that they're going to be having on the 10th, 17th, and the 24th?
They are having them on Sundays. As far as I know, it's a free clinic. And maybe, I think it's 2 to 4 possibly. Yes, so those are sign-ups. If you have an issue getting in touch with the league, please get in touch with our office and we'll put you in the right direction.
Thank you.
And if I open the door, I apologize. I just felt like the air needed to be cleared a little bit. I just want to make sure that some correct information is getting out there.
Well, I thank you for your clarification, David. I did just have one quick thing I wanted to add about Howl at the Moon. I noticed we had quite a few registration packets available, like the T-shirt and drawstring bags. I just wanted to make a quick recommendation. I thought perhaps maybe if you've ever considered like charging like a $10 donation back towards Parks and Rec to sell the shirts at the end of the evening. I think there were enough people there that I would think that that might be of interest if somebody wanted an extra shirt for a family member or.
Yeah, we can definitely do that, because we did have quite a few left. This year, we want, the event's growing, so we want to make sure we had enough.
Absolutely.
What we've realized with T-shirts in the past, if we don't get rid of them that night, we tend to collect them. So we may have 10 years worth of Fall Festival or OTF shirts upstairs. So we've tried to even sell those at different events in the past for $5, and we really don't get a whole lot of takers on that. But we could set up something the night of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, David, the Fall Festival kickoff concert with the Prince cover band, what time does that start and what time does it go till?
It starts at 7 o'clock, I believe. Gates open at 6, it starts at 7, and it should be done about 9:30.
Okay, and will there be food trucks there?
There will be food trucks on site, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, David.
Yes, sir.
Jason, if I'm out of order, I'm gonna stay out of order, because I'm gonna talk up for what needs to be said.
Next, we have the library
People, the
board.
citizens of
Ms.
Laverne.
Donna?
There she is.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen, good evening. It was a beautiful day today. For the month of August, our attendance stayed steady. It was 3,170. Circulation, 8,498. We really like being above that 5,000. We issued 101 new patron cards. And you can see our computer usage is kind of holding its own. But I think that's about to change. Because of IT's great work, we now have our computer lab full with the new computers that we received through the grant from the State Tennessee Library and Archives. They are awesome. They look beautiful. The monitor is big. I can almost see it without my glasses on. And they're fast. They're very fast. I almost want to move my office out to the computer lab. So very excited about that, and thank you, Glenn, and your team. They're moving quite along. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about some of our displays that we have in the library. If you've been in the library, you've seen that we will have banned books displays. Constitution Week will be coming up soon. We have had Veterans Day displays. Beth Blassingame, one of our staff members, asked if she could do one on 9/11, Never Forget. She did a magnificent job. She pulled some great books that we had in the library. Also, she pulled some pictures from that sad day, but that day that made our country stronger. And also, she has been giving out papers for anyone who would like to share, where were you on 9/11? And I get goosebumps when I talk about that, because I think any of us who are old enough to remember can remember exactly where we were and what we were doing on 9/11. And so I offer up tonight anyone who would like to take a paper and write your memory of 9/11, you're welcome to. You can give it back to me, you can drop it off at the library, and we are displaying those through the month of September. Going on to some exciting things. Well, this is not real exciting, but the library will be closed Saturday, September 16th. But the reason we're excited is because the library will be at the library tent at the Laverne Fall Festival. And we are so excited about that. Our theme from the library is, it's fall, y'all, on the library farm. So I want you to stop by the library tent to discover all the many resources that we have available for our community that are free from e-audios, books, DVDs, all sorts of great resources on grants, taking the ACT test, just great, great things. Then, how many of you like to do selfies? We got any selfie people in the group? All right. So we want you to come by and snap some really cute selfies or take a group photo in front of the library barn. Yes, we're going to have a barn there. Also play some fun games to win a prize or sit down with a friend for a rousing game of checkers. Adding to the fun, we're so excited about this, our special group of entertainers, the Laverne Public Library Nerd Herd. We will be entertaining on the small stage from 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. We will have stories, songs, music, movement, puppets, and so much more. And I would like to extend an invitation to anyone who would like to come out to the library tent. If you like to play checkers, we will have some children's books there. If you would like to sit and read a book to some children, we would love to have you come join us at our tent for just a day of fun. Do I have any questions?
Yeah, you do a great job down there. And how's the kiosk doing? I would ask you some more questions, Donna, but I'd probably be called out of order.
The kiosk is doing really well. We are having several people a day come in to renew their license, to change their address, and it also you can sign up to vote. You can register to vote. So the kiosk is really a great addition to the library.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Have you got a big to-do ready for Fall Festival for your tent?
Oh, yes, sir. You know we have a big to-do. We are ready to do it.
Miss Donna, I've had several people ask me online about the Dungeons and Dragons Club. How is that going?
It is really moving along. Danny Anderson is the Dragon Master, and he, every other Tuesday, 2 Tuesdays a month, he meets with the tweens. And those are ages, I'm going to get it wrong, 10 to 12. And then the other 2 Tuesdays of the month, he meets with the teens, which are 13 to 17. Having about 5 or 6 per group, but it's beginning to build up. Each week we're seeing a new person come in.
That's awesome.
That's really a great program that's moving right along, and we're hoping to build a core of young adults there.
Wonderful. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Finance Department, Miss Tanya.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Aldermen. Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the financial summary. In our general fund, our expenses exceeded revenue by $835,000. But just a reminder on that, we have not started collecting property tax yet this year, so that's why you see that right there. I apologize, I just noticed today under the sales tax, I did not change the year to fiscal year 23-24. I will have that changed by next month. In our local sales tax, we were $165,000 above budget, $32,000 above our prior year. In our state street aid, we were $109,000, revenue exceeded expenses. Stormwater, our revenue exceeded expenses by $18,000. In our water and sewer, our revenue exceeded expenses by $355,000. On the second page, you'll see our bank balances, and on the third page, you'll see our comparison to our prior year.
Tanya, are we starting to see, because I know it's not necessarily month to month, but are we starting to see the impact of BJ's Wholesale opening up?
I haven't looked at that specifically, but I will take a look at that and see if we can tell a difference yet. It might be a little early for that yet, but yes, I'll try to keep an eye on that.
Usually sales tax comes in, show it in the finance department a few months after it gets started.
Yes.
It's not at the end of the month, y'all know how much. It's like sometime 2 or 3 months later, right?
Correct. It's 2 months behind.
And I got another question to ask you. This retreat we're going to fix to go on, does anybody know the cost of it? And was it in the budget?
Yes, it was in the budget.
It was in the budget,
Yes.
but does anybody know the cost of it?
Off the top of my head, I don't, but
I haven't looked at the
Is
invoices
the
specifically.
employees that's going, are they gonna get overtime? Are they gonna get travel expenses?
I think everybody is salary.
Yeah.
Most everybody is salary, but we will be paying travel expenses for those that drive personal vehicles.
I think mileage as well.
I'm just tickled I didn't get called out of order.
Any other questions?
thank you, ma'am. Moving on to the Water Treatment Department, Mr. Danny.
How come Danny don't follow Donna no more?
Because I didn't do a good enough job, Vice Mayor. Ms. Tanya's done a much better job than I have. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Board. Hopefully you've had an opportunity to review our monthly report for the month of August. A couple of things I'd like to mention. We have collected all 30 lead and copper samples, so thank you very much for all y'all's help with that. It's very much appreciated. I'm still waiting on 6 sample results, but once I receive those, which should be this week, at the latest next week, I will send out those results or the notification letters and everything to the state by the deadline, which is the end of September this month. So, also, we are about just over 56% completed with our flushing program. So that puts us roughly in the middle of October to get that completed. High service pump 2 is out of service. Eaton was out to troubleshoot the VFD. It has a bad inverter, and we found out that those VFDs are now discontinued and no longer receiving service through Eaton. So I have spoken with Bruce about that. He is aware of it. I'm waiting for a quote to see what a replacement unit would cost. What we did have happen is the PLC that was not working on the valve for high service pump 5, we were able to remove that and put the working PLC from 2 onto 5. So now high service pump 5 is working. So we are still just 1 pump down. We have 4 in service. So we tried to maximize the use of the spare part in that regard. Any questions?
Well, first I want to say thank you on the lead and copper, because I know you went to some door-to-door to get that done, not just making phone calls or emails. So thank you for getting that completed.
Yes, sir.
Can you kind of go through the customer service issues?
Yes, absolutely. We had 4 customer complaints this month. 3 of them were for low water pressure. 1 was for a greenish tint in the water that they saw. For the low water pressure, 1 was due to a PRV. 2 were due to a water leak that was on Jefferson Pike, so they had issues for that. And for the greenish water tint, this happened last week. We did take a sample from that commercial location. Everything came back within range. It is a food location that they have us do a sample annually for them as it is. So we did run it a second time for them this year. I sent them the results. I reached out to them today to see if they're still having the issue, and I haven't heard anything back. So it is something that we're following up on, and I will continue to do so to see if they're still experiencing the issue.
But the results were fine as
Yes,
far as
sir.
the test?
Everything's well within range for what we can test. So if they're still experiencing the issue, we'll continue to work with them to see if something's happening internally in their building or anything of that sort that we can do to help.
Okay. Any other questions?
Do you have any complaints on like the new homes, the new subdivisions been built when they first move in about the funny taste in the water?
No, sir. Not that I am aware of, saying we just moved into a new
You
location.
know, new pipes, new everything. You don't see no complaints like that.
I have not seen any complaint like that.
Okay.
No, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Moving on to old business. Second reading ordinance 2023-18, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 general fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Haas. Is there a second?
A second.
Second from Vice Mayor No. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2023-19, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 drug fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor No. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderwoman Haas. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Second reading ordinance 2023-20, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2023-2024 equitable sharing fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny?
Motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Vice Mayor No. I'll second it. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Then moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
A motion to approve the consent agenda. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderwoman Hobbs. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Then moving on to new business. First reading ordinance 2023-21, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 14, parcel 72, consisting of approximately 9.33 acres located at 31 Lillian Buchanan Drive from a C2 highway service commercial zoning district to an R3 high-density residential zoning district. This received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on August 29th, 2023, and we did have a public hearing on this tonight, which no one spoke at. Need a motion to approve or deny?
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Haas. Is there a second?
Second for discussion.
Second from Vice Mayor No. Vice Mayor No,
Is the gentleman here?
and your name and address for the record, please.
Hey, Josh Hamby, 6,000 Fairview Road, Suite 1530, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Just so nobody thinks I'm hiding anything, I spoke with Josh today, but I was busy, he was busy. We talked for a short time, just a couple of questions, Josh, because there's been some things put out there on social media. We got some emails, yay, nay, so on and so forth. Some people were not clear, and I want to make it clear to the people at home that they heard through your presentation, all they heard was restaurants and sit-down restaurants and grocery stores. They did not hear about the 9.3 acres that you are wanting rezoned to R3 for high residential. So I'm just going to ask you a couple of questions because, in my opinion, you all may or may not agree, this is a great opportunity for the city as far as the commercial goes and getting that sort of stuff here, but it comes at a cost. And unfortunately, it's a catch-22, but that's what we do as a board. We sit up here and we make these hard decisions. Most of us vote yes or no. I know I will not abstain or pass. I will vote, and if citizens come back, then that's what they do. How many just so the folks watching at home can understand, how many apartments approximately are you thinking?
So the zoning that we're pursuing, the way we're trying to design it, is up to 30 units an acre, based on the real constraints of the site. And the two main limiting factors are your ability to surface park it and your ability to contain the stormwater that it's going to produce, right? The entirety of the 9.3 acres as it sits today is just green. So everything you build there will be counted as new impervious surface. And so that future commercial area you see slated there is primarily just infrastructure to support all the stormwater that we'll be creating. So we're looking at about 250 units as our best case. I think our low water mark is probably 230. And if we hire the most brilliant engineers in the country, we might get 260.
Do we know, Josh, are these going to be 1 or 2 bedrooms? And I'm sorry to repeat these questions. You've probably already been asked, but I wasn't here Thursday, and I did watch the meeting, but I want to make sure that the folks watching at home want to hear some of these questions, and I want to ask them.
Absolutely.
Ask you for them.
And look, we're all dealing with COVID, so I'm happy you're back and feeling better. It is going to be a mix of 1, 2, and 3 bedroom units. So the marketing that we're doing here, the way we're trying to put this project together holistically, is marketing this as Laverne's first Class A multifamily development. So more of what you're used to seeing in larger cities with walk-up or vertical transportation elevator units in one structure with surface parking surround. More amenities than what the other multifamily options in Laverne offer. And then, of course, the connectivity with the retail. There's a big premium on people that want to be able to walk to the grocery store and walk to grab their cup of coffee or get their haircut or whatever it is they do. And Laverne is frankly a big enough city to provide that lifestyle. So
that seems to be the newest concept going on. And I guess I asked Kyle, all of this as far as sewer and water and everything is, we're good in that department, and runoff and so on.
Yes, as far as the utilities, they're at the site or near the site, and as far as stormwater, that's what he's discussing, is that future commercial. I think it's 3.97 acres. A majority of that will be detention pond. I know he's trying to hope that it's not the entirety of it, but that's kind of what, he'll have an engineer that runs the numbers and decides on what that, how large that detention pond is going to have to be to meet our regulations. And, hopefully he's got something left there to do another, whether it be fast food or sit-down restaurant or whatever. But it may end up being a full detention pond or parking.
So that was going to be my next thing that I talked about. Those 2 lots that are left, are you saying that one of those could possibly be taken up with a whole?
Yes, the one that's kind of parallel with the apartments, it's basically where it says future commercial, 3.97 acres. You can see I think it's maybe a grocery store that is shown at the corner. It's that back track there. That's more than likely going to be, it's definitely going to be a pond. It's just how big is that pond got to be. That's where, whenever they determine how many bedrooms and everything else and how much parking's got to be required for planning commission approval, that's how big the pond will end up having to be.
So all of that would have to go back to planning and everything before?
Yes, it'll have to have site plan approval.
Okay. Also, Josh, you talked about, and it's been my experience, and this board actually, you talked about you're going to have a light put up there. Do you feel comfortable with that? Have you already spoken to TDOT? Because I'm thinking that you got a light at Dick Buchanan, then your light, and then one at Floyd Mayfield. So you think that TDOT's going to?
Yes, sir. Per the TDOT handbook, we're by code. So the spacing of the lights is based on the number of vehicles and speed limit of the road. I think we're 35 or 45 at this portion of Murfreesboro Road. 45. And so, yeah, per the code book, we are still allowable. So we're not asking for any sort of variance or special consideration. And frankly, to be able to access the project, I think the city would benefit from additional light there.
Have you been involved or with this type of building before, the walk to?
Yes, sir.
And out of that, the apartments that was involved, were they predominantly younger people, childless people?
So I've done this, I've developed in, I think, 30 or 35 states at this point in my career, maybe. These type of urban multifamily developments, in my experience, do cater all across the board. It could be a significant step up in life for a young family, or an incredibly luxurious place for a single young person. So I think it does offer a lifestyle that a lot of different folks will want to participate in. And most importantly, right, it's just something that's net new to Laverne. We can keep more different people in the city spending their money here.
Now, you talked about you were not at liberty to mention some of the businesses that you have spoken with and so on and so forth. If this passes this evening, when would you be able to?
So I can tell you as soon as they make their public announcement. Basically, when I sign a lease with those guys, so like most of the documents for the grocery store are already executed at this point. The rest of them we haven't signed because we are waiting for entitlements before we do those deals. But when I sign that document with them, there's a non-disclosure agreement that's part of it. And so if I make it public before they make it public, they have the right to terminate the agreement.
Do you have any kind, if this passes, do you have any kind of ETA?
We would know, I would be able to publicly announce most, if not all, before the end of this calendar year.
No, I mean, as far as getting started and
Oh, what the timeline of the project would be?
just, about.
Yeah, so as it sits right now, we would be closing on the bulk land purchase in December of this year. The pad sale to the grocery store would go forward in March, and they would immediately start building their building. While they're doing theirs, I'll be constructing the shared pond and signalizing the intersection, and my construction crew would then demobilize, and we would turn over to the retail crews.
As I said, I think this is personally, I think this is a good thing, but it comes at a cost, and I guess we'll just see how the voting goes. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
How many stories is these apartments going to be? They're
We're,
going
we're thinking 3. It looks
Yeah.
like 3.
at least 3, maybe more.
So there is one potential site plan that had 4, but there's significant additional cost to go from 3 to 4, way more so than to go from 2 to 3. And so
I know the ones behind Kentucky Fried Chicken, they just look so tall.
yeah, 36 feet is normally where we aim for top of parapet on something like this. But that's just something that gets flushed out in the design.
One thing that bothers me is, we've always pushed retail, and here we are, we got this is already commercial, and we're gonna do half of it, high density. That really don't sit with me, 'cause this board's always been preaching, we need, commercial, we need commercial. We got commercial on Musper Road here, and this in front of us to go, high density residential, and that really don't sit with me, with turning commercial into apartment, sites.
Would you like for me to respond to that?
I'm just making a statement. I didn't know, if you can respond to it or not.
Josh, so this project as a whole, would you say it would be similar to what is occurring in Smyrna with the Depot District and the new Murfreesboro mixed-use development?
I mean, look, any sort of mixed use with a residential and national credit retail component, they're all gonna have a fair bit of overlap, right? The only thing we're missing to make this a full live, work, play is an office component, and with the new trade school there, you could argue that we've got the fully fleshed out thing going here. So, yeah, I think there's similarities.
And then for anyone watching at home, or maybe here listening, can you just kind of define, as far as Class A apartments, this way people can understand what those exactly are?
That's right. So it's going to be your normal lobby entrance. You'll have direct entrances to your units, interior to the building. You'll be seeing, fiberboard exterior. It's not going to be vinyl siding or anything that you see on more economical products. And then, of course, further amenities, right? There's going to be staff there full-time. It'll be maintained. It'll be operated well. So, yeah, to kind of further hammer that point, the grocery store is very invested in the apartments coming as well, right? They like a new residential component to go along with what they're deploying. They're spending millions of dollars to open a store, so a couple new folks next door is good for them.
On the plans, is it, how much brick and how much non-brick or rock is gonna be on the front? I know the back probably gonna be different than the front, but is it gonna be all brick, all rock?
It's going to be all masonry material as we have it today, so it's a mixture of.
About what's behind Kentucky Fried Chicken?
I'm not familiar with what's behind Kentucky Fried Chicken, I'm sorry. So this would be a mixture of like Nichi-Ha panels and hardy plank, if you're familiar with the hardy
I think
material.
that's about like behind Kentucky Fried. Thank you very much.
Does that meet the overlay district building code?
That's one of the things he'll have to do is, if this gets approved, he'll still have to make submittal to the planning commission. The planning commission is the board that has the authority to make sure he's adhering to the overlay standard. So
Yeah,
no matter
there'll be
what
a
happens
materials
tonight,
board.
he's still, if this zoning gets approved, he's still gonna have to meet the overlay requirements.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, I probably got a few, but I'm afraid I get called out of order, so I'm gonna.
You can ask me after, that's all right.
I do have a question. The only thing that we're changing, or the rezoning is where it's multifamily, correct?
Yes,
The
ma'am,
other-
just the 9.3 acres separated from Murfreesboro Road, that's right.
Got it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve. We have a second. Alderman Waldron.
No.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. First reading ordinance 2023-22, an ordinance to amend the fiscal year 2022-2023 general fund budget. Need a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion to approve.
Have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Vice Mayor No. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
Motion passes. First reading ordinance 2023-23, an ordinance to amend Title 14, Chapter 3 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding grading, soil erosion, and sedimentation control, and Title 14, Chapter 6 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding the Stormwater Management Ordinance. Need a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Haas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Alderwoman Hobbs. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
I vote aye. Motion passes. Resolution 2023-17, a resolution of the City of Laverne Board of Mayor and Aldermen to declare property owned by the city to be surplus to the city's needs and directing disposal of the same. Need a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion to sell that wonderful stuff.
I have a motion to sell that wonderful stuff, and I will second that. Alderman Waldron.
Aye.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Aye.
Alderwoman Haas.
Aye.
Vice Mayor No.
Aye.
And I wholeheartedly say aye. Number 12, motion to approve a professional service agreement with Croft & Associates LLC for the right-of-way acquisition, consulting services for the Blair Road West Expansion Project. Need a motion to approve or deny.
I make a motion to approve.
I have a motion to approve from Alderwoman Haas. Our second for discussion, because I know from the look on her face, Alderwoman Hobbs has got some discussion on this.
I'm ready, yeah. I've got concerns just about spending $300,000 in consideration to expand Blair Road to Carruthers, when I honestly feel Blair Road as it exists today is unsafe and insufficient. There's no shoulder on either sides of that road. It drops minimally about close to a foot on each side, with the majority of it actually being a ravine. There's no shoulder for disabled vehicles to pull over, or even for police services to safely enforce speeding over there to get somebody pulled over. The curb at Portico on Blair remains unfinished. I think it's dangerous even going through there in the morning to get to Sam Ridley. The barely two-way traffic fits to make it through without falling off into some of that asphalt debris. Let alone, there's kind of a presentation aspect of it too, right? When you're coming off Sam Ridley onto Blair, the transition from Smyrna to Laverne is very evident, and I don't necessarily say that in a good thing. So I think just as a presentation coming into Laverne, presentation is in poor taste. Again, I think the road remains unsafe. I think our budget should be used to improve, maintain Blair Road as it is, and improve the safety versus just building more roadway. In addition, another thought is just the timing of all of this. Like, we haven't even started on the Waldron Road expansion, let alone consider widening and rerouting another road. So let's consider the impact that's going to have on the community there with two road projects, large road projects such as those going on at the same time.
So I wanted to speak to some of this. So a large portion of Blair is kind of a work in progress with Portico, with the townhomes, and with the High Point 24, all still in flux. Phase 2 to Portico has the finalization of the road improvements. We discussed that at the Planning Commission, where we were thinking it was Phase 1, but it is in Phase 2, because Gary went through and double-checked that. I know they were moving some poles around on that. Additionally, we've now got the Marlowe project, which is, they were voted down at the last Planning Commission meeting because Planning Commission did not like the number of units for the apartments in the high-density area, nor the road design. And they are since coming back and listening to us as far as that road design. I expect it probably to be resubmitted if it's not already. But it will go through and address the other portion of that curve. We also have some right-of-way that's coming to the city that's not ours yet with Arbor Ridge. And then there is a small gap in between where the old doctor's mansion is that blew up many years ago that still has to be worked out. So there's portions for that. I don't think anyone, when it comes to how much money is being spent on the Waldron Road expansion, which right-of-way acquisition will begin in a couple months. They've been working on that design. I know Kyle has been hounding the engineering firm, and for many, many days they kept saying, just a few more weeks, just a few more weeks. And so eventually we got to the point where it was finished, sent up to the state. They have to review it, and that's expected to come back before this board in a month or two. But that would be similar to this, where we have to start with the right-of-way acquisitions. This project connects basically Waldron and Blair Road all the way over to Carruthers, and there's a couple of benefits for that. Living over there and living kind of in between Blair and I-24, what happens with many traffic incidences on the interstate, people will shoot over to Sam Ridley, over to Blair, and they will either go Waldron to Rock Springs Road to get over to Nolensville, or they're cut over and cut through Carruthers or Summit View Summit Division so they can get through. This would instead connect over to Carruthers, and it would alleviate some of that traffic because then they're going to go straight around and through. And so it would also address another issue that we have, which is Carruthers. This board chose about 3 years ago to maybe 4 at this point, but or actually it was a previous board to this, but we decided to go ahead and address the curve because you couldn't have 2 trucks go through the Carruthers curve and not hit. Our fire engine was hit with the mirror knocked off of it. And so school buses, the drivers were concerned about overturning. And so we addressed that. We widened that curve, made it softer, and gave it more as far as a footprint. But overall, what has been discussed is turning that whole thing into a roundabout because it not only addresses the traffic issues there, but it also addresses some of the speeding from the car clubs that come down from Cane Ridge because it is a straight shot coming from Cane Ridge Park in Nashville, Antioch area, straight through. They like to cut through Carruthers, down Waldron, over to, not Center Point, but
Yeah, it's 7 point.
where Cardinal and Icy is.
24.
Oh, you're talking about off of Bain.
Yes, off of Bain Road. They like to race over there. And so this kind of breaks that up by adding a roundabout there because that's usually traffic calming.
Just for clarification, I don't think it's a bad idea. I just think the timing and the spending of the money now is a bad idea versus spending it towards repairs.
This isn't construction. This is just acquiring the right-of-way so that whenever we're able to go ahead and get started because we have that right-of-way. Sure. As far as Blair, like I said, is under work right now with Portico Phase 2.
Are they still actively building there?
Yes. Yeah, they're still, we just approved Phase 1, I believe, or gave the recommendation for, or was it, no, they had one more item. So we deferred that back another month because they still had one more item on Phase 1. Phase 2 is under construction. I drive by there every day taking the kids to school. So, and then the other 2 projects there, that whole section of road almost up to Woodsong would be addressed. And then Marlowe coming in addresses from that area up to where it ramps up that hill after the turn. You start to go up, and then from there you have the straightaway. The bulk of that is Arbor Ridge. You've got a small portion of it that's that mansion. So once we get the right-of-way for Arbor Ridge, we've already have that for expansion. And I know one thing the Assistant City Administrator and I were talking about, as all eyes turned to him, was we wouldn't spend the kind of money that we're spending on Waldron Road and ignore Blair, because we just have to get the pieces together for it. This is acquiring right-of-way. We're still doing that on Blair as well. So it's getting the pieces set up so that we can go through and do it as a whole, if that makes sense. There's a lot of moving pieces with Blair. There really is. And there's a lot more development. I mean, like I said, Marlowe, we're going back and forth with. You've got another 6 acres that's for sale over there. I don't know if the doctor's property is still talking about trying to develop, whether they're trying to build over there or not with the streams, but you've got still a lot of development in this whole area. So I agree with you, it does need to be addressed, and it's slowly getting there, but it's piece by piece. And so and a lot of it is thankfully not on the taxpayers, because the way that these developments are coming in, they're being required to make the road improvements on their dime, not on ours. Any other discussion?
That makes sense.
Okay. We have a motion to approve in a second. Alderman Waldron.
Abstain.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
No.
Alderwoman Hoff.
Yes.
Vice Mayor, no.
Yes.
I vote aye. Motion is approved. Moving on to Alderman and Mayor comments. Alderman Waldron.
Again, I want to urge everybody to keep the Smith family in their prayers for their loss. Check on the elderly. Make sure your pets has fresh water and shade. And it's a good time before it gets cold to check your outside water pipes and your crawl space and your automobiles, the winterize your automobiles. Thank you.
Alderwoman Hobbs.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a quick proposal that we add a discussion for a traffic calming study to the next agenda. I've had a number of citizens reach out to me with concerns of, as we approve high-density zoning around different parts of the city, cut through small neighborhoods, people concerned they want speed bumps in their neighborhood. I've talked with emergency services about, some of the challenges that presents to them, but I think it's worth, if that's what citizens are interested in, that we at least put it up for discussion. And then I wanted to make a quick comment about water safety. Everybody wear your life jacket, stay safe out in the water, especially as we wrap up into the fall season. Thank you.
Alderwoman Haas.
I think you missed one thing, the breakfast on the 16th.
Country ham breakfast.
I was waiting.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to say that, so I'll steal your thunder.
Thank you.
The country ham breakfast on the 16th before the fall festival parade.
That's Laverne Rescue Unit.
Yeah, Laverne Rescue Unit. It was coming. It was slow. My brain's not functioning. And then the parade. Remember, it starts at the Bicentennial City Hall, goes down to Veterans Memorial Park. The concert, I may be stealing some of the mayor's thunder. So Prince, come on, Purple Rain, let's go. And the USL, and the USL baseball, or the ball clinic for baseball, softball. Thank y'all.
Vice Mayor, no.
There was something brought up tonight during comments about codes, and the lady even had pictures. That's something that we need to talk about periodically, and Lord knows, my house is, I keep my front yard clean, my back's a little crazy, and we're not talking about being Brentwood. That's not what we're talking about, but our codes department is getting, they're getting pretty tough on some people. They're gonna start putting liens on houses and stuff, and I'm tickled to death to see it, because you get tired of seeing it, so pick up your stuff. We still got a few more spots, people listening at home. Cornhole for Fall Festival. If you think you've got what it takes, come on out, sign up. be warned that me and Mr. Rick Autry will be there facing you, but we need a few more cornhole teams. And last but not least, and I want to make sure that I talk this right, Evan, we cannot speak about employees or HR, but I can speak about the senior center.
Yes, sir. You just can't speak about specific employee personnel issues.
Correct. Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Because it was brought up earlier, and I didn't want to overstep my boundaries. Regardless of what happens with the situation at the senior center, I don't know how it got to that point. Doesn't matter. It's there, and regardless of what happens, the senior center will be there. It's not going anywhere. Apparently, and I found out tonight, there's been some rumors about the senior center being turned into all kind of stuff. David, if I'm wrong, or Bruce, if I'm wrong, you can correct me, but the senior center's not going anywhere. It will go on. Regardless of what happens, it will go on, it will thrive, and things will be fine for our seniors. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Well, I'm going to reiterate a couple things. Of course, September 15th is the Prince concert, so please come out and enjoy. You can always wear Miss Carol's favorite color of purple. We've got the Fall Festival starting off here at City Hall on the 16th. 10 a.m. is the parade, goes all the way down to Veterans Memorial Park, and well over 100 booths. Should be a great time for everyone. And then the 29th is Vice Mayor No's favorite movie, Clifford the Big Red Dog. So that will be, I believe, Roy Waldron, and should be a lot of fun. Being there makes it so that we're not going to encounter any of the wind that we've hit before, as well as the heat. Do want to remind everybody about as far as the strategic planning retreat that the city is doing this week. Basically planning out next 5-10 years, making long-term plans for the city. You have to have a vision, you have to have a road plan to get there, and that's what we're doing. Want to remind you about the October meeting. It is the 10th of October for everyone on your calendars. Want to ask that you keep in your prayers the Hatcher family. Also, we had a resident who just recently passed. She had celebrated her 108th birthday, which is absolutely amazing. Her name is Jane Anna Phillips Vales. So please remember her family in your prayers. And then piggybacking off codes, I know they've been working hard, and thanks to even some of our legal help, we're getting one of the major eyesores on JFK addressed and finally nuisanced from the residents there. So with that, thank you all for being here, and I call this meeting adjourned.